Thousands of people, all under the banner of the Poor People's Campaign, gathered outside the U.S. Capitol on June 23rd, the culmination of an effort in at least 35 states over the past 40 days. At the core of the campaigners' demands was the call for the revival of moral in the United States. This is not the first time the campaign has been tried. The original one was orchestrated in 1968 by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a movement for economic justice.
First, we should understand these have been going on for 6 weeks. This is the 7th week. They've been taking place in many, many state capitals around the country, including here in Madison, Wisconsin. And the uniqueness is that it's called the Campaign for Moral Revival. And the people who've organized this has put this in a sense of a moral issue, not just a political or economic issue. And they've tied all of these issues together.
In the past weeks, the nationwide demonstrations organized around a slew of themes ranging from low wages and lack of universal health care to systematic racism, police violence and ecological devastation. The protesters also called for an end to gerrymandering, immigration reform and full restoration of the Voting Rights Act.
Reverend Barber and each of these local state organizations have raised the question of access to the ballot. And in many, many states, we are seeing attacks on the ability for people to access the ballot. And this campaign for moral revival means just that, to revive our moral center. And one of the issues, of course, this week was the immigration system, where these are not the only people, but throughout the country, and in particular with Reverend Barber and his group, they were just appalled. And they have made the connection between all these different things and the necessity to have a moral revival in our country.
The overall message of the campaign is fighting poverty, not the poor. Official statistics say that about 40 million people are living in poverty in the United States, although the real number is believed to be much higher.
The poverty rate, depending on how you count, is 12% or 14%, which is about 40 million people. And the answer is that wages have been stagnant in the United States for about 30 years. And inflation has increased, but there are other costs that have increased, like medical care. So people are bankrupted by their costs for medicine and for health care.
The Trump administration has recently been criticized at the United Nations in Geneva for worsening levels of inequality in America, already one of the worst in the Western world. Since he took office as U.S. president, Trump has taken policies to slash welfare protections for millions of struggling Americans, while giving massive tax cuts to the rich.
Has Trump failed? Well, there is no serious money for affordable housing in the federal budget. So in that sense, yes. In terms of access to Medicare or medicine or health care, the Trump administration has been trying to abolish the Obamacare aspects that gave more equitable health access, even though it's still quite expensive. In terms of the fight for 15 and raising wages, Trump or his people or the Labor Department, depending on who we're talking about, has been on the wrong side of those issues. So in terms of the key issues that the campaign has raised, Trump is in the wrong place.
The campaigners say the fight has just begun. They hope to keep it on until the next presidential elections for a fundamental change.